Going no contact is a really big decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes with a lot of ramifications after the fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that you've experienced since that maybe you didn't have awareness of, or, you know, surprises, both good and bad, that have come since that decision?
Mm-hmm. So, you know, before I decided to go no contact, basically through a letter. I wrote my parents a letter, and I tried to keep it very open-ended, where it was like, you know, I'm not saying that I'm never going to speak to you again, but the next time that we do talk, it has to be about something substantial. You know, we have to at least be on the same page so that we can go on and not pretend like everything is fine. And so I left it very open-ended. And leading up to that, for me, this was just kind of a personal thing that I felt like I had to do to feel okay after this. I tried and I tried and I gave a few more opportunities than I'm sure a lot of people would say that I should have, just to see, like, well, okay, what about this time? If we do this, maybe things will start to go. Nope. Okay. Once I felt comfortable enough in that, where I was like, I have done everything that I can do, I felt kind of confident moving forward in that direction. And I think, you know, probably the most uncomfortable thing that I've encountered since then is extended family events where we're going to be in the same room, maybe at the same table. Um, and I think just sitting with that discomfort can be really challenging, and also feeling, even just on a subconscious level, like other people in your family or your friend group might look to you as the reason that things are different now, because on the surface I'm the one who moved out, I'm the one who made the change. You know, I don't think a lot of people in my family are aware of like these underlying issues. And I think being okay with maybe being viewed by that by some other people has been something that I've thought about. But I will say, in the last year, it's been really mainly positive. Um, so much of I think I've had so much space for self discovery. And really just getting to know myself. You know, I think I started to realize how much I was always kind of catering my words and my behavior to whoever it was that I was around. And I actually just had an experience this past weekend where I was with a handful of people from kind of different groups in my life. And I caught myself in the moment thinking, like, I'm just being me right now. You know, I'm not playing to this group dynamic or to that group dynamic, because I don't think I'm doing that much anymore. I think I always felt so compelled to kind of cater myself to someone else to make sure that I was agreeable or that I was making them happy. I was aware of what version of myself kind of meshed well with them. And I think allowing myself the space to kind of get to know myself and feel confident that, you know, I don't have to people please everyone. And if someone doesn't like me, then that's okay. You know, I don't have to cater myself and my behavior to everyone that I'm around. It's exhausting and it's unsustainable. And I'll never truly be able to get to know myself. And so I think that's been a really positive change in the last year, is just kind of feeling like I can be me all the time.
That's awesome. What's some advice that you would give somebody that's either choosing that or thinking about that, or maybe had just recently chosen that decision to go no contact with a family member?
Well, it's a very heavy decision, I think. You're kind of mourning a relationship with people who are physically still here, but for whatever reason, that connection is gone. Um, and I guess I would say allow yourself the space to sit with all of the emotions as they come up, because I have felt everything from anger and sadness to grief and resentment and joy and excitement. I think going into it understanding that it's not a solution necessarily, it's just kind of a decision that'll help you to maybe start to heal and to gain some perspective. I think for me, no contact was really about distance, because I felt like I couldn't put the work in and heal in a way that would be sustainable for me if I was still maintaining these unhealthy relationships, because it can be so easy to just slip back into those old ways of thinking when that relationship is still present. And so, yeah, I would say just kind of allow space for all of these different emotions, and to be patient with yourself, because you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. Um, and like we talked about earlier, whether you journal or you have kind of these moments that you go back to, there's nothing wrong with reminding yourself of why you made this decision, of having those kind of key points. And probably lastly is to just try to surround yourself with people who will be there for you regardless of what you do, because I think going no contact, that is, I think it can be followed by a lot of change. Personally, a lot of self-discovery. You're trying new things. You're really maybe not too sure of who you are yet outside of a toxic relationship. And I think knowing that even if you have, one or two people that will kind of stick with you, and if you want to go and do something, they'll be there. Don't isolate yourself too much, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I think that support's a really, really big key component, right?
Mm-hmm.
And healthy support, safe support, people that are definitely, they're not criticizing the decision, they're not judging you. They're very much just in the space of supporting that decision and supporting what you're doing from a loving place. That was a huge key thing for me. When you also mentioned the variety of emotions that come up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is grief. It is grief. It's grieving somebody that, a relationship, a dynamic, an experience, a connection that kind of still exists, but it doesn't anymore because of a decision that you've made. But one of the things that I have found really difficult as well, and it's interesting that it's difficult, is joy. Like, it's hard for me to allow myself to be happy. And I have found that recognizing that right now in my life, I'm, probably some of the most happiest times that I've ever had. I feel happy a lot. I feel full of joy and grateful. And there's just a ton of gratitude for where I'm at in life right now. And that wasn't always, I don't know if when I say it wasn't safe to feel, I think a lot of times, especially earlier on growing up and everything like that, you're so, or at least I was so emotionally connected to my mom that, whatever her emotional state was what my emotional state was. I was just mirroring whatever she was feeling and wherever she was at. And so it was challenging for me to finally get to the point. And I truthfully just took that mirroring process and placed it on all the different relationships that I was in. So eventually it became the same thing with Stephanie, where it was like, if Stephanie was in a bad mood, I'm in a bad mood. If Stephanie's having a bad day, we're having a bad day, all of that kind of stuff. But getting to the point where it's like, wait a minute, like, I'm not in a bad mood. I feel really good about myself. I'm happy. I like the decisions that I'm making in my life, and things are going really well. And then just giving myself permission to feel that, like to feel the joy, to feel the happiness, to be in this space, because so much of a decision like that, of going no contact with somebody, like you said, it's a big, heavy decision, and the weight of it, it's like, it's got huge ripples, right? And those ripples last for a really long time. And sometimes it's hard to be happy when there's another narrative telling you that you should be sad, or another voice inside of your head saying, yes, but, right? So I think that's a big thing for me that I've noticed.
Yeah. It's really nice when you do start to allow yourself to feel that joy and excitement, though. And I think, for me, because it's very similar, a lot of that has come, even feeling good about my decision to go no contact, has come in recognizing my own progress, and being faced with an experience that in the past I know would have made me very uncomfortable. I would have known how to manage it. It would have been overwhelming. And kind of being able to face something like that now, not necessarily full on 100% with confidence, but much better than I have in the past. And recognizing that, like, I would have done this, and like, here I am. I'm feeling okay. We're moving through it. Like, you might start to see, and like I said, no contact isn't kind of a one size fits all answer to healing. Is a journey, and I think that's just one step of it. But I think removing yourself from that environment and from those relationships, it kind of allows you the space to start to become more attuned with yourself and reflect on your own behavior. And when you start to see those little steps forward, that's so rewarding, where it's like undeniable that, okay, what I'm doing is working, because this thing that used to be so scary to me, it's not as scary anymore.
We were meant to be.